This episode is brought to you by Amazon. Sometimes the most painful part of getting sick is the getting better part. Waiting on hold for an appointment, sitting in crowded waiting rooms, standing in line at the pharmacy, that's painful. Amazon One Medical and Amazon Pharmacy remove those painful parts of getting better with things like 24/7 virtual visits and prescriptions delivered to your door. Thanks to Amazon Pharmacy and Amazon One Medical, healthcare just got less painful.
Tech scams, identity thieves, data leaks. Hearing about these online threats every day can be stressful. But don't worry. McAfee Total Protection is here to help you live a worry-free life online. What does worry-free mean? Well, it means you won't have to wonder if that text message is a scam, if new threats will pop up on your PC, or if you're safe from identity theft. Visit McAfee.com/online protection today to get award-winning online protection for just $39.99 your first year. That's McAfee.com/online protection. Cancel anytime. Terms apply.
All right, so you have a big job interview coming up. And you're not just aiming to, get through it. You want to knock their socks off.
Yeah.
But even more than that, you want to make sure that this job is actually the right fit for you.
Yeah.
And let's be real, sometimes figuring that out is trickier than acing the interview itself.
Yeah.
So that's why, for today's deep dive, we are turning to a Harvard Business Review video featuring author and editor Amy Gallo. She's got some seriously practical advice on how to use your interview questions to not only impress, but also gather the intel you need to make a truly informed decision.
Yeah, what's interesting about Amy Gallo's approach is that she sees the Q&A as more than just a chance to show off your knowledge.
Yeah.
It's a strategic opportunity to subtly steer the conversation and gain invaluable insights into the role, the company culture, whether it aligns with your personal career goals.
Okay, I'm intrigued. So it's not just about having a list of clever questions memorized. Right.
It's about using them as a tool to dig deeper.
Exactly.
It's like being a detective, except instead of solving a crime, you're solving the mystery of, is this job actually as awesome as it sounds?
Exactly. And one of the first things that Amy emphasizes is that you actually have two goals.
Okay.
During the Q&A portion.
Two goals. Okay.
Of course, you want to demonstrate your interest and make a good impression.
Right.
But just as importantly, you are gathering information to figure out if this job is right for you.
Yeah.
Not just the other way around.
Ooh, I like that power shift. It's like you're interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing you. So how do we put this two-pronged approach into action?
Well,
what kind of questions should we be asking to achieve both of these goals?
Amy suggests starting by personalizing your questions. For example, instead of the generic, what's a typical day like, try something like, what would a typical day for me in this role look like?
This subtle shift does something really interesting psychologically.
Okay, I'm all ears. Tell me more about the psychological magic trick.
It forces the interviewer to actually picture you in the role. And that act of visualization can subconsciously make them more inclined to see you as a potential fit. It's like you're planting a seed in their mind.
Yeah.
And that seed can grow into a genuine consideration of you as a candidate.
So it's less about getting a literal rundown of the workday and more about getting them to start thinking about you actually doing the job.
Right.
Sneaky.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see how powerful this approach can be. So what other types of questions does Amy recommend to unearth these golden nuggets of information?
She breaks down the questions into several categories.
Okay.
Starting with the job itself. Here, you want to get into the nitty-gritty of responsibilities.
Okay.
The types of projects you would be tackling and how your performance would be measured.
Right.
This is your chance to truly understand the day-to-day reality of the role and see if it aligns with your strengths and interests.
Makes sense. So let's say I'm curious about what kind of impact I could make early on.
Yeah.
Would asking about the most immediate projects be a good way to gauge that?
Absolutely. That's a great way to get a sense of the work
Okay.
and show the interviewer you're eager to hit the ground running. It also subtly highlights your initiative and desire to contribute right away.
Okay. I'm writing that one down. Now, what about the team? Obviously, who you work with has a huge impact on your overall job satisfaction.
Right.
What kind of questions can help me get a feel for the team dynamics?
Amy suggests inquiring about the team structure, the different roles within the team, and any current challenges they might be facing.
Okay.
You can even ask about opportunities for collaboration or cross-functional projects.
Right.
These types of questions demonstrate that you are thinking beyond just your individual role and are interested in how you would fit into the larger team dynamic.
It's like you're showing them that you're not just there to punch the clock.
Right.
You're genuinely interested in being a part of the team.
Exactly.
And contributing to their success.
Uh-huh.
I can see how that would make a positive impression. But let's be real. A big part of whether you'll enjoy a job comes down to your boss.
Right.
So how do we tactfully get a read on them during the interview?
That's where the questions about your potential boss come in.
Okay.
Amy recommends inquiring about their leadership style, their experience in the industry, and even what they personally enjoy most about working at the company.
Okay.
This not only gives you valuable insights into their management approach,
Right.
but also subtly gauges their enthusiasm for the company itself. If they're genuinely passionate, that's a good sign.
I love that it's like you're getting a sneak peek behind the curtain.
Yeah.
And seeing if their leadership style aligns with what you need to thrive. And speaking of getting a behind-the-scenes look, I know company culture is super important. What kind of questions can help me get a feel for the company's vibe beyond the polished website and mission statement?
That's where Amy's advice gets really interesting.
Okay.
She suggests asking things like, what do new employees typically find surprising about the company culture?
Okay.
Or what are some of the unwritten rules or traditions that make this company unique?
Ooh, those are good. It's like a secret code to crack the company culture puzzle.
Yeah.
But why are those questions so effective?
Right.
What makes them better than just straight up asking about the company culture?
It's about getting beyond the surface level.
Okay.
And uncovering the nuances of the work environment.
Yeah.
These types of questions often lead to more candid and authentic answers.
Yeah.
Revealing insights that you wouldn't necessarily get from a direct question.
Yeah.
It's like reading between the lines to get a true sense of the company's values and how people actually interact.
Okay. I'm totally on board with this reading between the lines approach. But what if I'm interviewing for a remote job?
Okay.
Are there any specific questions I should be asking to make sure I'd be set up for success in a virtual environment?
That's a great question. Amy specifically addresses this, advising candidates to inquire about the onboarding process for remote employees. It's crucial to understand how the company integrates remote workers into the team.
Right.
And ensures they feel connected and supported.
That makes a lot of sense. It shows you're thinking about those unique challenges and opportunities.
Yeah.
And that you're proactive about setting yourself up for success in a remote setting.
Exactly.
All right, so we've covered questions about the team, the boss, and even the company culture. What about wrapping things up? Are there any strategic questions we can ask to leave a lasting positive impression and show we're serious about the opportunity?
Absolutely. Amy suggests ending with questions that clarify your qualifications or demonstrate your proactiveness. For example, you could ask if there's anything else you can elaborate on regarding your experience, or if they need any further information from you to make a decision.
It's like you're showing them you're eager to go the extra mile and ensure they have everything they need.
Right.
I bet that level of attention to detail makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Now, there's one question I know a lot of people are probably itching to ask by the end of the interview. What about salary?
Ah, yes, the salary question.
Yeah.
It's tempting to bring it up.
Right.
But Amy actually advises against it during the initial interview.
Really? Why is that? I would think it's important to know if you're even in the same ballpark.
It's about strategy.
Okay.
Remember, your primary focus in this interview is to establish a connection, showcase your fit, and gather information.
Okay.
Negotiating salary comes later, ideally after you've received an offer.
Okay.
It puts you in a much stronger position.
That makes sense. It's like once they've decided they want you, you have more leverage to discuss the terms.
Right.
So we've talked about the types of questions to ask, but are there any questions we should avoid?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming asking about their dental plan in the first interview is probably a no-go.
Definitely avoid anything that can be easily found on their website or through a quick Google search.
Yeah.
Asking basic questions like that shows a lack of preparation and genuine interest.
It's like showing up to a potluck empty-handed. You want to bring something unique and valuable to the table.
Exactly.
So focus on those insightful questions that demonstrate you've done your homework.
Yeah.
And are thinking critically about the role and the company.
Precisely. Now, earlier you mentioned the importance of company culture.
Yeah.
Let's dive back into that a bit.
Okay.
One of Amy's suggestions that really intrigued me was asking, what do new employees typically find surprising about the company culture?
Right.
It seems so simple, but it's actually brilliantly sneaky.
Okay, I'm hooked. Tell me more about why this question is so powerful.
Okay.
What kind of information can it uncover?
It's a subtle way to unearth those unspoken norms.
Okay.
Or unexpected aspects of the work environment that you wouldn't necessarily get from a direct question.
Right.
For example, an answer like,
okay,
we have a very collaborative environment, but everyone is expected to be extremely independent and self-sufficient.
Okay.
Might raise a red flag.
Yeah.
It suggests a potential disconnect between the company's stated values
Right.
and the actual day-to-day experience.
It's like you're getting a glimpse behind the PR curtain and seeing the real company culture in action. I can see how those little details can be incredibly revealing.
Right.
So if the answer to that question highlights some potential concerns, what should I do? Should I just politely thank them for their time and run for the hills?
Not necessarily. It's more about using that information to probe further and ask clarifying questions. For example, you could say something like, that's interesting. Can you elaborate on how the company fosters collaboration?
Yeah.
While also encouraging individual autonomy.
Okay.
Their response will give you a better understanding of how those seemingly contradictory elements coexist within the culture.
So it's not about making snap judgments. It's about gathering enough information to make an informed decision.
Exactly.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Now, I know we've been focusing a lot on these strategic questions, but how many questions should I actually ask during the interview? Is there a magic number?
There's no hard and fast rule.
Okay.
But Amy suggests being mindful of the interviewer's time.
Right.
And prioritizing the questions that are most important to you. Remember, quality over quantity.
Yeah.
Choosing a few thoughtful questions will make a much stronger impression than firing off a laundry list of random queries.
It's like ordering at a fancy restaurant. You don't want to order everything on the menu. You want to choose a few dishes that you'll truly savor.
Exactly.
Now, before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier about the psychological impact of asking personalized questions. Can you give me another example of how I can use this technique to subtly influence the interviewer's perception of me?
Certainly. Let's say you're interviewing for a role that involves managing multiple projects simultaneously.
Okay.
Instead of asking, how does the company handle project prioritization? Try something like, if I were in this role, how would I prioritize competing project deadlines and ensure everything stays on track?
I see what you're doing there. It's not just about getting information. It's about subtly positioning yourself as already being in the role.
Exactly.
That slight shift in wording can make a big difference in how the interviewer sees you.
It encourages them to start envisioning you as a capable and proactive member of their team. And that visualization can subconsciously increase your chances of landing the job.
Okay, this is blowing my mind. It's like you're planting a seed in their subconscious and watching it blossom into a job offer.
Right.
So to recap, we've covered a lot of ground here. We talked about the importance of personalizing your questions. Focusing on quality over quantity and strategically avoiding anything too basic or easily Googled. And of course, we delved into the power of reading between the lines, especially when it comes to company culture.
Right.
Is there anything else we should keep in mind as we prepare for our upcoming job interviews?
The most important thing is to remember that the Q&A session is a two-way street.
Right.
It's not just about impressing the interviewer. It's about gathering the information you need to make an informed decision about whether this is the right opportunity for you. Think of it as a detective game. Where you're both evaluating each other and trying to determine if there's a good fit.
I love that analogy. It really highlights how important it is to be engaged and curious. Throughout the entire interview process, it's not just about showcasing your skills and experience. It's about making sure their company culture, their values, and their vision align with your personal career goals.
Exactly. And sometimes the best way to uncover those hidden gems of information is to end the interview with a question that turns the tables and puts the ball back in their court.
Ooh, I'm intrigued. What kind of question can achieve that?
Amy suggests something along the lines of, what am I not asking you that I should be asking?
Wow, that is a powerful question. It's like you're inviting them to share any insights or perspectives that you might have missed. It shows humility, self-awareness, and a genuine desire to understand the role fully. I bet it catches them off guard in a good way.
It often does. It can lead to some truly valuable insights that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise.
Right.
And it leaves a lasting impression of your thoughtfulness and genuine curiosity.
It's like you're saying, I'm here to learn, I'm here to grow, and I'm open to hearing what you have to say.
Right.
That's a powerful message to send, especially in a job interview setting.
Absolutely. And remember, landing the job is just the beginning.
Right.
This information gathering stage is crucial for setting yourself up for success from day one.
So true. It's like you don't want to just survive the interview. You want to thrive in the actual job.
Right.
And asking the right questions can help you figure out if this is the right environment for you to do just that.
Precisely. It's about making a conscious choice about where you want to invest your time and energy,
Right.
rather than just accepting any offer that comes your way.
This deep dive has been a game changer for me. I used to think job interviews were all about showcasing my skills and trying to impress the interviewer. Now I see it as a collaborative process where I'm also evaluating them and gathering the information I need to make a smart career decision.
And that's the key takeaway here. Job interviews are a two-way street.
Right.
By being prepared, asking thoughtful questions, and actively listening to the answers, you can gain invaluable insights that will help you make the best choice for your future.
So to leave you with one final thought, imagine you get the job. What's one question you wish you had asked during the interview that would have helped you hit the ground running and be successful from day one? Think about it and let this deep dive empower you to not just ace your next interview, but to truly find the job that's the perfect fit for you.